present competition, David Stokes.
My talk's about competition. It started the other day when we were around at some friend's house, and they're talking about competition, should that be encouraged for kids? And the conversation was very interesting. It went from, is it reward or punishment? Do we reward the few for achieving well and punish the many for not achieving? So if you've got 20 in a race, the first few that come first, second and third, they're rewarded, and the rest are punished. It was an interesting concept, and it's something that I've discussed probably many years ago in my teens when I was talking with my friend about competitions. And it brought back those memories and incidents that we sort of went over when we were younger. And that was, what is competition? And the thing was, my friend, a good friend of mine back in the UK, called Dave CC5, we used to compete all the time. But not only did we share the same name, Dave, we shared the same initials, DAS. We also lived in the same road, Oakwood Road. We lived 2 houses apart. Our families were good friends. We went on holiday together. He was like a brother. He still is like a brother. We were in the same school, same age, same classroom. We would compete at jumping over streams. We'd be swinging through trees. We'd climb trees. We'd do anything to compete. We'd even run to school, which was strange for some kids. Strange for us. But the thing we started to go over was what we thought were good competitions at the time. And one of those was riding. And from the early age of 5, we used to do a reasonably steep hill. But we used to ride around the block, and we'd race. And that would be our thing. We'd race in this little highway, really race on our little bikes, go around the block, and then coming back via an alleyway, back up to their house. And on this one occasion, which we thought was good, was where Dave had got his bike. He got big, big wheels. Bigger wheels than mine, big like tractor wheels. I've got just the normal size wheels. And he was shooting around the road, coming up to where we've got to come through this alley. And Dave's got the big wheels. And on this occasion, I couldn't actually get onto the driveway, back onto the pavement and down the alley. Dave, he was on the inside, he just bounced up the curb. And on this case, I'm sitting there going, oh, what can I do? I can't be beaten. So I tried to lift my wheel. Lifted my wheel, and unfortunately didn't lift it quick enough. Went straight down into the curb. I went head over handlebars. I'd been in hospital. I had a graze from the top of my forehead to my chin. I also had to have a bit of surgery on my lip because I burst the vein there. I'd also knocked out my 2 front teeth. I wasn't in very good shape. And we thought, well, that wasn't. We thought it was a good competition, but was it really? And then we started to relate to a second one when we were a bit older. And now we have bigger bikes. And by this time I've got cow horns. I don't know if you can smell it. And I was on a bike that I used to call a snacker tracker. It was great. Dave was on this one. He had a bike for a chopper. And he would have big handlebars like this. We were pretty cool. He used to go down the street racing. But on this day, over the hill, came a chap called Puffler. And I can't remember the rest of his name, but Puffler was his nickname. But he was the kid that had everything. And he had this brand new spanky new racer. 10 gears, but the creme de la creme was he had a speedometer. And it wasn't any digital speedometer that you get these days, it was the old needle one. So in those days, that was it. So both me and Dave eyed this and thought, we've got a competition here, we've got a race on. So for the next 2 hours, there was just 3 of us shooting down the hill to ice, going at 20 miles an hour. Next one down to 17. And there were calls all the time going down the hill. Anyway, there's time to go home. I had the last go on the bike. This is my chance. So I went up to the top of the hill, I got on his bike, loosened myself up, got my neck, right, I'm going. I was there, shooting down the hill, wind going through my hair, because didn't need to wear helmets in those days. And then flying past, 26 miles an hour. I got the record, got it. I came back up and I was cock-a-hoop. Anyway, Puffler was standing there with Dave. And by this time, Dave had already negotiated an extra extension so he could get down the hill. And then Dave gets at the top, he's doing his exercises, he's gelling back his hair, he's going down, he's really pacing down, he's shooting down the hill. He goes, 27. But what time, Dave's there going, yes, yes, and he forgot about the corner at the bottom of the road. He went round the corner, hit a parked car, over the bonnet, up over the windscreen, onto the floor. Dave's there crying, a bit dazed, grazed, and tears had gone through his lips. We needed a stitch in hospital. Otherwise, it was okay. Hoffler was crying because his bike was all smashed to smithereens. And I was crying because I hadn't won. But we're sitting there saying, well, really, were those competitions, you know, were we a bit too competitive? And Dave then said to me, you know, the first incident, when we were doing the race, he said, I knew that you were quicker than me, and if you got to the curb and could go up on the driveway, you would beat me. So he forced me wide. I said, so you put me in off. Thanks. And I said, well, you know, the second thing was that we talked about racing down the hill. I said, I never really did 26 miles an hour, I made it up. And Dave says, you put me in hospital. And he said to me, I never really did 27 either. The two of us were looking at it back and saying, well, from a competitive point of view, those really aren't. We thought they were good competitive events at the time. But looking back, we cheated. We cheated ourselves, we cheated each other. And we were really only doing it to win. We weren't doing it to improve. And our thoughts on competition was really to improve oneself, to improve yourself, to actually compete against yourself, to get yourself up to a higher level. And that's where it came back into this conversation of should we encourage our kids. And I believe that every child and every person is good at something. You may not be good at running, you may not be good at cycling, but you could be excellent at psychology or philosophy. And therefore, competition does help you to identify your strengths and weaknesses, but you should always remember it's against yourself and to improve yourself, not to actually try and beat an opponent. It's not about that. It's about improving oneself. So I believe we should encourage people to be competitive, to understand their strengths and weaknesses, and to build on them should they choose. Thank you.